Hello friends. This is Fiction Quest. How are you all? So in this video, we will see, what if Naruto and Luffy becoming the king of pirates? But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also if possible share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. Naruto bumped into Gaara. The two stood back to back. The demon hacked down on them. Gaara used the sand to protect the both of them. Tsunade. Get up. Gaara grunted. He was staring to feel dizzy from all the hexes the demon had fired at him. I'm up. Tsunade launched herself at the demon beast again. Damn. These boys need to be careful. I only have so much chakra to heal them with. Gra. Naruto fired a Rasengan shuriken at the demon. Ah. He gripped his arm. Right. I'm not supposed to do that. Tsunade glared at him. The demon was down at least. Let's get out of here. Its corpse is kind of gross. The beast had reverted from mostly human form to pure demon form. I don't think it's dead. Were that the case, the sand coffin would have been enough. Gaara glared down at the demon. Hee. I like you, Gaara. You're smart, and that tickled. Do it again. The demon laughed. Naruto stared at it, horrified. We're gonna need backup. No good. Kiba tried. There's some kind of force field. Gaara's eyes never once left the demon. Naruto. What about Kyuubi? Tsunade looked around for the demon. Demon projections can't control their power properly. I don't know if he can help. Even if he tried he might end up hurting us. Naruto shook his head. Naruto. Gaara growled. The sand twisted into a partial bubble over the three. But something was off. Tsunade grunted. Naruto. She gasped. Gaara winced. The demon had stabbed his claws through the sand. One of the claws had grazed his side. But Tsunade had borne the brunt of the hit. 4 of the 5 claws had slashed through her. And she was just about out of chakra. Yeah? Naruto smelled the blood, but because of the darkness the dome provided, he couldn't tell. You need to save your energy. Gaara growled at the Hokage. Her hand brushed his wound, healing it. You didn't have to. It was just a scratch. Gaara. Shut up. I'm going to die very soon, so make the best of your time. Naruto, you're the next Hokage. Tsunade gasped. She only had 1 lung to work with and she'd used too much chakra to be able to heal herself. Tsunade. Naruto reached out a hand, brushing the woman's shoulder. You're kidding, right? No, Naruto, she's not. Gaara listened for Tsunade's ragged breathing. Nothing. We need Kyuubi. It doesn't matter whether he can control his power in this form. If we're going to die we may as well. Die spectacularly. Lord 6th. Naruto couldn't believe it. His lifelong dream had come true. He didn't expect it to happen like this, I guess. You don't want it to happen like this? Gaara asked. Naruto smirked and shook his head. No, his voice betrayed the huge grin. I'll be going down kicking ass alongside my best friend, the 5th Kazekage. I wouldn't have it any other way. Me neither. Gaara smiled. Great. Let's go, Lord 5th. On 3, Lord 6th. 3. Naruto shouted, a Rasengan spiraling on his palm. The sand dome reversed its shape, scooping around the demon. Gaara wasn't trying to kill it. Just cage it. The 2 cages sprinted forward, both with their own special attacks. Gaara with his own version of the Rasengan, sand spiraling like a saw blade, and Naruto with the actual Rasengan. They were about to thrust the attacks into the demon when its claws slashed out of the sand and hooked into them. Kyuubi had just arrived when he saw the demon kill Naruto and Gaara. The 9 tails remained on our plane of existence for 1 more second before being yanked to the realm of demons. Across the battlefield, Shukaku felt the presence of Kyuubi vanish. The 1 tail vanished to the same place. Kakashi realized the battle was over when Gaara yanked the sand shield over and the demon's claws went right through it. Naruto. He said. Everyone on the battlefield stopped. Naruto. Kakashi and Sasuke had both shouted. When the dome had encased the demon and Gaara and Naruto had attacked, Sasuke had felt a pang of worry. Then the 2 had been hooked on the claws. It's over. Neji whispered. He glanced at Sakura. The kunoichi's face was streaked with dirt, blood, and tears. Sakura. What the hell? Kiba exclaimed. He watched in horror as Naruto's corpse fell to the ground, followed by Gaara's. Sakura drew a sharp breath and began to sob. Sasuke put his arm around her. Hinata's shoulders shook as she cried openly against Kiba's arm. Temari gripped Kankuro's wrist with her left hand. Her right hand was clamped over her mouth, as she cried. Shikamaru's jaw tightened as Ino gripped his hand. Sasuke closed his eyes. Kiba looked down. Neji looked away, turning his gaze to Lee, whose lip trembled. Kankuro just stared blankly ahead. Gaara, Naruto, he whispered. Kankuro put his arms around Temari. The two siblings felt as though it was all over. Not just the battle. But everything else too. The demon turned its attention to the only other living things on the battlefield. Bring it. Kakashi drew his last shuriken. Which one? Which one? I think I'll go with the pink-haired one. Her crying is most annoying. The demon spoke softly. It charged for Sakura, changing shape as he went. In its human form it seemed to move faster. It flicked a katana out of nothing. No, Kakashi stepped in front of Sakura. Sasuke sprang over his teacher and landed in front of Kakashi. He reached for his sword, but the demon moved too quickly for him. Neji's hands had pulled Sakura back. The Hyuga stared back up, just in time to see the last of the Uchiha die. Sasuke hung limp on the sword blade that had gone all the way through him and into Kakashi. Sasuke's teacher was mortally wounded, but he was going to last at least long enough to injure the demon. Kakashi took the sword Sasuke had been reaching for and threw it. He'd thrown the katana javelin style. It hit the intended target, the demon's forehead, but did no damage. You are an annoying little pest, son of the White Fang. I've killed you and yet you still fight? Die. It yanked the sword out of Kakashi. Sasuke's corpse slid off the blade and fell face first into the dirt. You killed Naruto and Sasuke. Kakashi panted. He gripped the handle of Sasuke's katana and jerked it. The sword sliced the left upper half of the demon's head off. You die. He stabbed it through the spot where the heart should have been. The demon glared down at Kakashi with his right eye. It shook its head, what was left of it. With a neat flourish of its own sword, it beheaded the Junin. Sakura and Hinata screamed. Okay, that's it. Neji's eardrum was ringing from when Sakura had screamed. He drew a kunai. You will be destroyed. Ready, guys. Nevermore. Shikamaru drew Asuma's chakra blades. Kiba tossed a soldier pill into his mouth. Lee undid the weights and dropped them. Ino drew a kunai. Shakily, Hinata stepped into a fighting position. Kankuro and Temari were still recovering from Gaara's death, but they readied themselves for the fight. Sakura pulled her gloves on tighter. She flexed her fingers. You're going to die along with us, she growled. I am? We'll see. This is going to be so fun, make me feel the agony. I like it. The demon grinned. The part of his head that had been cut off filled in with smoke. The smoke solidified into brain, skull, eye, skin, and flesh. The young ninja attacked the demon. Lee was the first to die. He was stripped of his arms, then his innards. Kiba was next. His face was torn open and his throat along with it. Ino was next. Her hand was ripped off and her heart out. Then Hinata. She was impaled on the katana and sliced open. Shikamaru was cut in half. Neji's left arm and shoulder were torn off, and then so was his head. Kankuro and Temari were killed at the same time. The demon threw Temari's fan, decapitating the both of them. Sakura picked up the katana. She forced her chakra into the blade until it hummed with power. Die, she shrieked as she swung the blade. The demon caught it and forced the chakra back at her. It burned through the gloves and into her hands. The kunoichi let go of the sword and forced the chakra into her leg. She kicked up at the demon and sent it flying. Strong girl. He. You make me feel the pain. I like the pain. I like you. You're good. The demon giggled. Sakura forced all of her chakra into her fist. She punched it in the face as hard as she could. The strike would have broken a human's neck and killed him. The demon only giggled like it was high on something. Nice try, girly. I was going to keep you as a toy. But you're making me mad now. You're going to go join your friends now. It gripped Sakura's throat and sent a huge pulse of chakra into Sakura. She died. Chapter 1. Angels. 17 years ago. Makino panted. She'd been at it for almost 6 hours. Come on, Makino. When I was alive, 6 hours were a light training session. I had to train for up to 12 hours at a time. More than once I did 18 or more. You can do it too. Tsunade was still full of energy and ready to keep going. But Tsunade, I've been at this for 6 hours straight. I haven't drunk anything in those 6 hours. And I skipped coffee this morning, if you remember. Makino glared up at her guardian angel. The blonde former ninja smiled ruefully. Sorry. She stretched her huge white wings and touched off from the log. Okay. We'll go back. But you have to learn water walking first. Why? I'm exhausted, I'm sorry, but I have a really bad feeling you'll be needing that skill soon. Oh, all right. You're the all-powerful former Hokage. I can't really argue. I'm not all-powerful. I can't even control time. I can't be all-powerful without being able to control time. Tsunade smiled. Whatever. Let's get this over with. Makino and Tsunade kept going till they came across a river. It wasn't very deep and didn't move very fast. It's like with tree climbing, only you need to keep exuding a constant amount of chakra. Tsunade touched down. She pulled the hem of the white skirt up so Makino could see her feet. The angel stepped onto the water. Makino watched as her guardian crossed the river and back, on top of the water. Wow, I want to try that. Makino summoned more chakra. She stepped onto the water and began striding towards the center. The 19-year-old smiled. Tsunade, I did it. I did it. Pretty good for a first try. Slow walking and standing are kind of hard. Running is actually easier, because you know tree running. You know not to allow your feet to come down too hard. It's easier because your feet touch the water less often, meaning you need to use less chakra. I'm too tired to do any more training today. Makino's eyes widened as she remembered. She let go of the chakra, her legs splashing into the water. I just remembered. Jane's baby was due today. Tsunade hadn't forgotten. She glanced skyward. I wonder who his angel is. When Makino got to the hospital, she saw Jane's 3-year-old son Ace sitting on the bench swinging his legs back and forth. Hi Makino. He smiled at the green-haired girl. Makino, something's wrong. I feel bad. Tsunade's voice echoed inside Makino's head. What is it, Tsunade? I don't know, but something bad just happened. Makino worried at Tsunade's words. The nurse came out of the room holding a bundle of cloth. Are you Uma Makino? She asked. Her eyes were wide with worry. Yes. Why? Makino looked at the bundle curiously. It moved. Take him. The nurse handed the bundle to Makino. You were named Godmother. He's yours now. The nurse hurried away, past the light that was invisible to her. The orange glow was only visible to Makino. She stared at it for a moment, before looking at the bundle. It squirmed in her arms and began to emit a wail. Makino, is that my baby brother? Ace hopped off the bench and tugged at Makino's skirt. She knew he couldn't see the glow, so she stopped staring. The green-haired girl looked down at the baby wrapped in the bundle. He had black eyes and black fuzz for hair. A hand reached down and stroked the baby's arm. Makino looked up. There was a blond man standing in front of her. He was wearing orange and red robes and had red and gold wings. The man had blue eyes and what looked to be whiskers. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I'm this boy's guardian angel, he seemed to say, but she couldn't tell. He hadn't moved his mouth. Okay. Makino had never met a guardian angel other than Tsunade before. Why do I have the feeling Naruto is going to have his work cut out for him? Tsunade pondered. Come on, Luffy. Makino twirled around in a circle, gaining enough momentum to bring her heel crashing into Luffy's arm. Tsunade smiled at the boy's improvement. This time last year, he hadn't been able to throw a shuriken, much less block a hit like the one Makino had just dealt. Naruto appeared at the female angel's side. He's doing good. You've been training him. No. Okay. Maybe a little. Naruto kept staring at his charge. Luffy, what are you doing? Use the attack we practiced last night. Mo. NK. EY. D. Luffy barrage. Luffy summoned clones and pounded Makino. The bartender was knocked into the air then punched down into the dirt. I see. That's not something I'd have him do to her twice. Why not? The sixth glanced at the fifth strangely. Because I might have to hurt you. Tsunade flexed her fingers. I get the picture. Tsunade bossen. Naruto. Later that same day. What are you up to now, Anchor? I'm gonna show you how tough I am. Luffy. Don't you dare. As he most often did. Luffy ignored Naruto's pleas. The angel grumbled and settled deeper in the recesses of Luffy's mind. Luffy raised the knife. Ah. He stabbed himself in the face. Ah. Later. That was the dumbest stunt you've ever pulled. Why, if I were allowed, I would kick your ass for this. Naruto was furious. Fortunately, he couldn't appear in front of the whole Red Hair crew and tell Luffy off. Sorry Naruto-sama. I won't do it again. Luffy apologized in thought. You damn well better not. Naruto grumbled, slouching further into the back of the boy's mind. Luffy. Makino glared down at him reprovingly. Sorry Oni-chan. I won't do it again. That's what you always say. Luffy, you're always hurting yourself. Why? Makino asked. I want to prove how tough I am, but Shanks is always ignoring me. Huh? Did you call me, Anchor? Shanks asked. See? Oh come on Luffy. Cheer up. Makino despised seeing her godson so sad. Tell you what. I'll make a batch of extra special cookies for you. Luffy's eyes bulged. Being a 7-year-old, anything with sugar made him happy. Shanks grinned. Come on Luffy. Real men don't frown like that. But Mr. First Mate does all the time. Luffy protested. Makino patted him on the head and went to go get the last barrel of grog. Makino-chan won't make you cookies if you're sad. Oh, you're right. I need to be happy so I can get those cookies. Shanks snickered. Real men don't get so excited about cookies, he laughed. That was a dirty trick. You don't respect me at all. Haha. You sound like me as a kid. Brings back memories. Of mud pies, swirlies, and butt kickings. Good times. Okay. Let me show you something only a real man can do. Luffy smirked. Naruto's figurative grin vanished. No you don't. Tsunade will have the boss take my wings. I'll go to hell. Maybe an exaggeration. But not much. Luffy don't. Luffy ignored him. The 7-year-old smirked. Why no jutsu? Damn it Luffy. You'll be the damnation of me. Luffy transformed into a girl with long black hair. Smoke covered the private areas. Most of the men in the bar passed out from nasal blood loss. Shanks and Mr. First Mate only needed tissues. Monkey Minato Sarutobi Nawakid Luffy. You change back right now. Makino was raging. I'm gonna kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. I'm gonna fricking kill him. Tsunade was even angrier. She screamed the aforementioned phrase in Makino's head. Luffy changed back. Am I in trouble? Yes. Makino nodded solemnly. No cookies either. Makino. Remain calm. Go out to the pier. Direct Shanks to the fight and wait, hidden. Tsunade ordered levelly. She was used to finding ways to order chaos. Makino did as she was told. Shanks hurried to the square and Makino crouched behind a barrel. Only a few moments passed when Higuma hurried past her and into a dinghy. Under his arm was clutched Luffy. Makino started to rise, but a hand clamped down on her shoulder. Tsunade's skirts rustled as she crouched down further. No, wait until they're out of sight. Higuma rowed the boat out of the harbor. Tsunade's hand moved from Makino's shoulder. The green-haired woman turned to look at her angel. Thank you for teaching me water walking all those years ago. I know why I need it now. She stood up and hopped down onto the waves. She saw Shanks dive from the pier into the water. Makino hurried over to him. Shanks. She called out. Tsunade stood just behind her. Makino. Shanks blushed when he realized the view he was getting. The bartender blushed too. She squatted down on the green tides and held out her hand. The red-headed pirate took it. Tell me later how you're doing that. Come out, Tsunade commanded. A greenish light fizzled in the air. It changed into a man in green and red robes. He had long white hair. The man smiled. Hello Tsunade. He grinned. Jiraiya. The former Hokage smiled back. She then slapped him. Makino was holding Shanks up. He was uncomfortable and she was running out of strength. Jiraiya-sama, can you make summon a toad for Shanks to ride on? He's very heavy and we need to move quickly. Jiraiya shrugged and grabbed the pirate's arm. He lifted the red-haired buccaneer easily over the water at the trio. 2 angels and a bartender sprinted to save Luffy. Luffy shrieked as he flew into the water. He saw the Sea King, but the bandit was oblivious. A golden-haired woman dove off the water into it to save Luffy. The 7-year-old squealed in fear as the Sea King devoured the bandit and moved to strike both him and the woman. Back to the depths, Lord of the Sea. You'll find no meal here, the woman said. Luffy thought he was going crazy. He saw a man in green and red carrying Shanks and Makino standing on the water. The Sea King moved forward tentatively. Close your eyes, the woman said. Luffy did as he was told. He felt warm and content, but only for a split second. Then the cold washed back over him. Who are you? He stammered in the cold. A friend of Naruto's. How do you know about Naruto? I'm an angel too. Tsunade smiled. Author's note. I'm just saying, and you were going to ask anyway. Luffy hadn't seen Tsunade before because she cloaked herself from him before. Naruto put the drenched boy on the ground gently. His charge had fallen asleep on the flight to the woods. Makino and Shanks were still awake though. So you're the Tsunade Jiraiya would tell me about. Shanks stared in awe at the golden-haired angel. Yes. Did he mention anyone else? Lots of people. His teacher, his other classmate, his students. Shanks glanced at Naruto, who stroked the hair gently out of Luffy's face. Naruto looked like he was content. Luffy snored softly and turned over in his sleep. The red-winged angel smiled, the corners of his blue eyes crinkling. Shanks yawned. Tsunade and Jiraiya had gone back to their charges' minds. Jiraiya was snoring in the back of Shanks's head and Tsunade was quietly snoozing in Makino's mind. Naruto was the only angel left out in the open in the small grove. He flicked his hands through a rough series of signs. A small fire burned near the edge of the grove. Makino crawled over to Luffy's side. She took off her woolen sweater and draped it over the slumbering boy. Naruto looked up at her. He winked and vanished. Shanks held his cold hands up to the fire. Jiraiya had left his cloak. The dark green fabric felt warm on the pirate's cold fingers. He shivered. There's no way we're getting back to the village tonight. It's cold. You should take the cloak. He held it out to Makino. She edged her head to the side. No, you're wet. You need the warmth or you'll catch hypothermia. I don't know how to treat that yet. The woman's hair shimmered in the dancing light. Shanks's ears matched his hair. He looked at his hands. I was just thinking, if it hadn't been for you and Tsunade, I might have lost one of these arms. It was a good thing you showed up. I'm really grateful, thanks. Makino blushed. She looked at the pirate. His crimson hair still dripped. You're still dripping. He shook his hair, sending droplets flying everywhere. They hissed when they hit the fire. He stood up and strode over to Makino, sitting down on the dirt so that Luffy was between them. Makino raised an eyebrow. What was the pirate up to? Shanks tossed the cloak over Makino and Luffy. He pulled the edge of it over his shoulder. Ya know, I could learn to like this kid. I love him already. Makino kissed her godson's forehead gently. Huh, Shanks smiled, turning his head away from Makino's view. He's okay for a little stretchy twerp. The bartender frowned. She rolled over under the cloak so her back faced the pirate. Stupid pirate. Said pirate rolled over so his back faced said bartender. Dumb barmaid. They fell asleep. Luffy woke up in his room, not in the woods. He was wrapped up tightly in his blue sailboat patterned comforter. Naruto was sprawled across the floor reading a small orange-covered book. What's that book? Luffy asked. The book vanished. Naruto smiled. Tell ya when you're older. But I wanna know now. Nope, not getting it out of me. Meanie. Sure thing kiddo. NYA. Luffy stuck his tongue out at Naruto. I'm hungry. Naruto sighed and closed his eyes. He was still smiling. Luffy had that effect on people, living and dead. Makino. Luffy got up, his angel changing into a fox as he rose as well. The fox and the boy padded down the hall. Yo, Luffy. Naruto barked softly. What? Did you notice what you're wearing on your head? Naruto's tail swished as it brushed across the wooden boards. The 7-year-old put his hands up to see what it was Naruto was talking about. There was a straw hat sitting on his head. I thought it would be cool to mention, when Naruto died, a tiny sliver of Kyuubi's own soul merged with Naruto's. Now, if Luffy gets really angry, he could very well go into Nine-Tails mode. Chapter 3, Present Day. Luffy grinned. He fixed the hat and tried to decide how to wear his vest. Should I tuck it in? Or should I leave it out? Or should I leave it unbuttoned? Uncle Luffy. The 5-year-old girl dove at the 17-year-old. He grinned and fell to the floor. Uck, you got me. No, he howled in mock terror. The red-haired girl tickled the hat-wearing teen. Tickle fight. No, no tickle. Luffy squeaked. Botan, stop torturing Luffy. Shanks shook his head. But Daddy, I'm not torturing Uncle Luffy. Botan looked up at the former pirate captain. Botan, I need to get ready. I'm leaving today. Luffy nudged the girl off his chest. He stood up and dusted off the seat of his pants. Luffy, be careful with that hat. Shanks pointed at the straw hat. Okay, Shanks. Luffy smiled. Makino peeked around Shanks's shoulder. Is everything all right in here? Of course. Shanks grinned at his wife. Botan, go with your mom. The 5-year-old skipped out of the room. Makino led her daughter to the kitchen to help with Luffy's surprise. The one he knew all about. I'm gonna miss her. Luffy dropped down on his bed. Shanks dropped down on the bed next to the black-haired teen. So am I. I'm gonna miss Makino too. Shanks patted Luffy's hat. You're gonna be a great pirate, with or without my help. You're gonna make us all proud. I'll try. Luffy grinned. I wonder where Ace is. I hope he finds me when I get out there. Of course I'm going to try to get him to join my crew. I have to have the best. I have to get the greatest pirates in the whole world. I don't like the government. They put restrictions on everything. I'm gonna take 'em down. And I'm gonna be the king. You are. Shanks joked like he'd never heard the straw hat wearer say that before. Said teen glared down at the former pirate. He thought for a moment. Ya know what? What? Thank you. For absolutely everything. You gave up piracy to help me become better. Thanks so much, Shanks. You're very welcome. It was a fun 10 years. Shanks stood up. You should thank Makino too. She's done more than me. She trained you since you were a little kid. She brought you up. Makino deserves more credit than me. I never said she didn't. You were the one in the room at the time. Luffy smirked. Besides, you're coming with me so, it doesn't matter. That is true. Luffy, Shanks, it's almost time for you to leave. Makino's voice drifted in through the door. Coming. Luffy yelled. He leapt off the bed and grabbed his backpack. He'd decided to leave his shirt untucked and buttoned. 88888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888 rock. She waved as tears slid down her face. It's okay, Makino. Tsunade put her arm around the woman. They'll be fine. Jiraiya and Naruto are tough. I grew up with Jiraiya and Naruto was my pick for the 6th Hokage. Only a demon could take him down. They'll be okay. I hope you're right. But to achieve his dream, Luffy has to take on the Grand Line. Even demons are said to be powerless there. Makino dropped her arm. The two men were out of sight in the tiny boat. As that's so, Tsunade wasn't worried one bit. She had a feeling there was nothing the boy, who would come to be known as Straw Hat Luffy, couldn't handle. 8888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888888. The weather's so great, Luffy grinned. Jiraiya and Naruto were sitting in the very back of the boat. Shanks was sitting with the Straw Hat Boy up closer to the front of the boat. Yeah, but I wish we had some way of getting news from the underworld. Jiraiya muttered. We could always summon up someone who could notify us, Naruto smirked. I'm thinking the One Tail. He bit his thumb and let one drop of Golden Angel's blood fall into the greenish-blue depths. A figure appeared standing on the water. This better be good, Uzumaki. The human form of Shukaku did not look pleased. Actually, we need someone to inform us of the happenings in the underworld. Well, the gods are getting pissy. Possibly due to minor revolts happening all over the underworld. Cerberus and Kyuubi are, as you know, heads of security. They aren't too happy either. And as you know, the council is meeting soon. Anubis-sama is upset about the whole damn thing. Hades-sama and him are getting sent and having to send demons left and right. We might have an open rebellion happening soon. Shukaku strolled across the emerald water alongside the boat. Luffy and Shanks could only stare in awe. Jiraiya and Naruto were very worried. Is there more? Jiraiya asked. More? Hell yeah, we've got dead spilling out of the shade section of the underworld. And Chiron is getting mighty pissed off at any demon that comes within a half mile. Except for Nibby. While Cerberus is dealing with all that security crap, she's taken up his job temporarily. And she isn't happy about it. Nibby's only getting paid half what he does. Oh yeah, and to top it all off, the world government is specifically targeting Anubis-sama's followers. Why? I mean, they're not exactly harmless, but what have the Jashinists done to deserve getting wiped out? Naruto was thoroughly disgusted. They're immortal, and immortals can't die. Besides, Jashinists like pain. The world governor can't find a way to put them in their place. Why would they want to? Because the Jashinists are either serial killers or complete pacifists. The governor prefers to have complete control. They want them to join the army, join the Marines. But the people they want to capture alive, like pirates, can't be captured alive. Shukaku frowned. Naruto understood. Jiraiya nodded. There's more. Shukaku fixed his collar. They are trying to summon demons. What? The two angles almost fell out of the boat. They want to repeat what they did before. But with pirates. Sorry, but I have to go now. I'll update you in 2 days. The demon vanished. What did he mean by repeat what they did before, but with pirates? Luffy asked. What the hell is a Jashinist? Shanks blurted. I'll answer Shanks's question first. Jiraiya was still slightly shaken by Shukaku's news. Jashinists are the followers of Jashin. He's the blood god. Anubis-sama is actually Jashin. Or rather a combination of whom you humans think is Osiris, Anubis, and Jashin. Hades-sama is a combination of all the other death gods. Jashinists are immortal and have very strict commandments. One such as there is no half-killing. Every battle must end in the opponent's death or with words and no drawing of blood from either side. Oh, Shanks was sorry he asked. Now Luffy's question. Naruto glanced up at the sky before continuing. My death happened at the hands of a demon. The same demon that killed Tsunade, Gaara, and the rest of us last 14. It slaughtered the ninja that had escaped the government's killing spree. After Orochimaru had sided with them, and the sound became the Special Operations Teams, Orochimaru proposed the destruction of all shinobi who refused to join the government. Suna was the first on the battlefield, followed closely by Kiri. They fought as best they could, but it wasn't enough. The Mizukage was killed in battle. The Kazekage was not. Gaara, the Kazekage, was forced to watch as his entire village, besides his brother and sister, was massacred. The 3 remaining Suna ninja fled to Konoha. Iwa was the next to fall, then Kumo, Whirlpool, and so on and so forth. Soon it was only Aim and Konoha still standing. Aim went down first. Pain was the first into battle and the last to die. Naruto paused for a moment. He looked at the 2 pirates. They stared dumbly at him, waiting for him to continue. When the government attacked, they didn't expect us to be ready. But we were. We decimated the legion they had sent after us. It was a 3-month wait until they'd gotten enough soldiers over to destroy the last 14 of us. The last 14 being Tsunade the 5th Hokage, Gaara the 5th Kazekage, Temari, Kankuro, Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Neji, Hyuga Hinata, Hatake Kakashi, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, Rock Lee, and myself. I was able to project Kyuubi's power into another physical shape. He fought alongside us in the form he hated most. He fought alongside humans in the form of a human. Kyuubi's power also made it possible to summon more help. He summoned the Hound of Hades himself, Cerberus. He also summoned Dracula and Shukaku. Even with their help, it wasn't enough. We all died in the end. You were all killed by the government? Luffy asked. He didn't mean it as an actual question, just an expression of shock. Yeah, both angels said at the same time. Who's this Orochimaru guy? I'd like to know so I can clobber him. The teen was suddenly exploding with rage. Shish. Shanks held a finger to his lips. Tell me you guys hear that too. Luffy paused. He heard the sound of rushing water. Naruto and Jiraiya tossed all the supplies out of 2 barrels. Jiraiya pointed to the 2 barrels. In. He barked. Luffy and Shanks didn't ask, they just climbed into the barrels. Naruto tossed the supplies in on them. Don't eat them all. You'll get sick and vomit in the barrel. You really don't want that to happen. Both angels slammed the lids onto the barrels hard, locking the 2 pirates in. This happened just as the boat capsized in the giant whirlpool. 2 boys sprawled on the sand. They were about 10 feet away from each other. One boy was blonde and had whiskers. The other had white hair. They were both dressed in plain clothes of bright colors. The white-haired boy was wearing bright red and a murky green. The blonde boy was wearing orange. They both wore headbands with a swirly-looking leaf-like symbol. Kobe stared at the 2, wondering if they were alive. The blonde cracked open an eye and the white-haired one sat up. Kobe had his back turned when the 2 stirred. When he turned around again, they were gone. The cabin boy dismissed the thought that they had actually been there and imagined it had been a mirage. He began rolling the 2 barrels up the hill, one at a time. Little did he know, the 2 boys were not a mirage. They were the guardians of the contents of the barrels. When Lady Alvida's mace had smashed into the supply hut, it had sent the 2 pirates flying. Luffy laughed and Shanks tried to remember when Alvida had been nicer and thinner. She hadn't. Naruto and Jiraiya crouched low in the leaves. They'd taken up their separate forms when Alvida had smashed the hut. The 2 angels had also taken up transformations of themselves when they were still alive. Jiraiya had taken his own 15-year-old form, so had Naruto. Kobe turned around, almost bumping into Jiraiya. SSS sorry. DD don't hit me. Kobe stuttered. Why would I do that? Jiraiya asked. He was worried about Shanks, and oddly, Luffy too. That's what everyone else does. Wait, you're not going to hit me. No. Jiraiya helped Shanks out of the barrel. The redhead staggered around for a bit before the dizziness wore off. Luffy pulled himself out of the barrel. The rubber boy fixed his hat and shirt. That was fun. He caught sight of Kobe. Hi, I'm Luffy. Who are you? KK Kobe. You don't happen to have a boat or meat? Luffy asked. Shanks punched him in the back of the head. Baka, you need to use your manners. I know you have them. Makino taught you. Sorry, Kobe-san. Is it possible you could assist us in obtaining a mode of nautical transportation and nourishment, preferably nourishment very high in protein of the meat variety? I guess. Well, I can get you a B boat T, B, but I don't think it can hold all LF4 of you. Kobe stuttered. That's okay. Naruto grinned. I can walk on water. So can I. Jiraiya proudly claimed. Kobe stared up at them, jaw slack. YUCC can W walk on W water. Yeah, we can do lots more too. Naruto stretched his arms out, as if trying to show the amount of things he could do. Whoa, Luffy, Shanks, and Kobe stood on the dock staring at the huge port town. This place is huge. It's a town, Luffy. Not every settlement is as small as Windmill Village. Shanks pointed out. Suna was 5 times the size of this place, and it was considered a small village in my day. Konoha is easily 8 times the size of this place. Damn, I miss that village. My face never made it to Hokage Rock though. Naruto muttered wistfully. Whatever, Naruto-sama, Luffy thought. Gee, I'm starving. Let's find some food. Man, this place has good food. We should come back again some other time. The straw hat wearer patted his stomach. Say Kobe, wasn't that bounty hunter dude locked up in that Navy base? What was his name? Roronoa, Zoro. The rest of the restaurant's occupants minus Kobe and Shanks jumped up and cowered in fear. Luffy, I think it's best we don't say his name aloud. Shanks muttered. I think Shanks-senpai is right. And I heard that Captain Morgan was. The same response as when Luffy had said the bounty hunter's name was given to the mention of the naval captain. I wonder what's with all these people. They're acting jumpier than if they heard Hoshigaki Kisame was on a rampage. You're right. Wait, who's Kisame again? Never mind. Kobe, if you're going to be a marine, let's get you to the base. What about Shanks-senpai? Kobe realized the problem. Oh, it's okay. I resigned being a pirate. The Marines know that, which is why I have nothing to fear. Shanks grinned. And besides, I'm an author. Authors don't get attacked by Marines. He winked and held up a blue-covered book. It had a picture of a man and women holding pistols on the front cover. Kobe could make out the title. Ika Ika Revolution. Oh, Kobe looked up at the Marine base again. It loomed over him. Naruto says the thing is about as tall as Kyuubi's knee. Luffy said. Who's Kyuubi? Kobe asked Luffy's back as the Mugiwara sprinted up to the wall. The rubber man jumped up on top. Acting like Jeff Corwin, do you think we'll spot the savage beast from here? No, no, Luffy, you should understand that he's probably deep within the bowels of the fortress. Naruto barked from his position in fox form next to his charge's elbow. Oh really? Maybe we should follow that black-haired kid with the ping-pong paddle symbol on the back of his shirt. Luffy pointed at a kid with spiky black hair styled into a DA, white shorts, and a dark blue shirt. You all know who he is. Something about that guy is eerily familiar, Naruto mused out loud. Let's follow him. No, what if he's a bad guy? Like Zoro. Kobe flailed his arms. Nah, he's got a clan symbol on the back of his shirt. A Konoha clan symbol. The teen in the orange jacket smirked. Dunno which one though. I think I can't remember. All I know is he's an angel. Naruto dashed along the top of the wall as Luffy sprinted along the bottom of the wall, following the boy around the corner. The boy hopped up onto the brick wall and strolled along it. Hey, why are you people following Naruto? He asked the fox. Say you remember me. No, you don't. That hurts, man. It really hurts. Sasuke. Naruto transformed into the 15-year-old version of himself. Sasuke frowned. He crossed his arms and glared at his former classmate. Sure, now you recognize me. What brings you to a marine base? My idiot charge. Got himself captured. He's been here for almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Where is he anyway? Hold on. Is your charge, Roronoa Zoro? Yep, and he's tied up in the middle of the parade grounds, just over the wall. Zoro, I brought some friends for you to meet. Sasuke cupped his hands around his mouth. Who? Came a voice from over the wall. Luffy hopped up and peeked over. Kobe and Shanks also hopped up onto the wall. The author raised an eyebrow when Kobe toppled off the wall and into the dirt below, muttering something about black bandanas and sashes. Chill, Kobe. Sasuke's a good guy. If he's Zoro's guardian, you have nothing to worry about. Naruto beamed. Well, mostly nothing anyway. Hey, Sasuke-sama, will you and Zoro join my crew? Luffy asked. Sasuke looked at him with a blank expression. Oh yeah, sure, I'll join. It's Zoro who you'll have to work at to convince. Then again, I could be wrong completely. He has spur-of-the-moment mind changes all the time. What kind of crew is it? Zoro asked. A pirate crew. Luffy grinned. Hell no. Zoro shook his bandana-covered head. If I told you red-haired Shanks is on my crew, would you join? The straw hat wearer asked. Red-haired Shanks. You mean the author? Huh, his book is good. Maybe, I guess. Sure. It's just, well, they took my swords. Hid 'em somewhere in the fortress. And I'm thirsty. And, his stomach growled, finishing the sentence for him. Can you, Yano, get me some food? I know just what you need. Luffy bounced up and down on the wall. Meat, and ramen. Okay, can you get me some sake and my swords? Sure, come on Shanks. You go get the sake and ramen and meat. I go get the swords. The black-haired pirate captain punched his fist into the air. Sasuke, Zoro began. I'm on it. The angel nodded and transformed into a snake. He curled around Luffy's arm, like a coil of rope. Be careful. Zoros got 3 SS swords SS. Heisei SS Santori U Usser. Ooh, Kobe. Stay here and keep out of the Marine's sight. Naruto ordered before vanishing into Luffy's head again. The rubber man stretched his arms, latched onto the roof of the base, and shot forward. Gomu Gomu no rocket, the attacks will be written in Japanglish. The angel who'd transformed into a snake had to tighten his grip, for fear of falling off. They landed on the roof and Naruto separated. He smirked at the Uchiha. My charge is really something, ain't he? Yeah, well, you haven't seen Zoro in action yet. He can kick Luffy's ass. As that's so, what can he do? Naruto raised an incredulous eyebrow. He can kick my ass. Sasuke said with a blank expression. He went back to semi-human form. Oh, Zoro is something. Even I couldn't beat you with Kyuubi's help. And yet Gaara could, without Shukaku's help. Naruto flashed a huge grin. Shut up. What's Zoro got? Luffy asked. The three of them snuck through a hatch door on the roof. Ah, he's a master swordsman. I trained him in basic taijutsu. He's not as good as Lee, but then no one is. He can do several kinds of jutsu. Fire style, lightning. Oh yeah, and he has Sharingan. He has what? Naruto stopped dead. How can he have Sharingan? Can Luffy do the Rasengan properly? Yeah, that's how. Huh, you're Luffy's guardian, I'm Zoro's. He has what I did. Sharingan, and a bunch of powerful techniques. Including the ones Itachi gave me, but let's not go there. I'm not wanting to ask. He never used any of them on me. Okay, I was just making sure. Because Amaretsu could hurt, so you wouldn't want him to do that to you. Last thing, Naruto. What? Shut up. Hey, guys, I found it. Luffy pointed through an open door. There were 3 swords leaning up against the wall. Are those Zoro's, Sasuke-sama? Yeah, grab the katana and let's go. I'll give you a brief taste of how I get places fast. Sasuke tied a black headband on. It didn't have any symbols on it. The headband held back his black bangs. Luffy picked up the katana, cradling them tightly to his chest. Sasuke, what are you thinking? Naruto looked at his friend curiously. You'll see. Wings out. Sasuke frowned. Wings out. What? Luffy didn't have time to finish asking. Sasuke grabbed a fistful of the back of the rubber man's jacket. The black-haired angel charged for the window. He hit the glass with his shoulder and barreled out into open air. Shit! Luffy screamed. Shut up! Sasuke yelled. There was a sound of ripping cloth. Luffy looked back and saw 2 midnight blue wings spreading out from Sasuke's shoulders. The flash of color from Naruto's red and orange wings was the only sign that he was following them. The 2 angels plus Sasuke's passenger landed gracefully, or in the case of Sasuke's passenger, on his ass in the dirt on the parade grounds. Sasuke's boots were coated in a thin layer of dust from the sand. A tiny dust cloud surrounded Naruto's sandals when he touched down. That was fun, Luffy said, standing and dusting the seat of his trousers off. Let's do it again. No, the black-haired angel was blunt about the answer. Both he and the blonde left their wings out. I broke the angel code by doing that. I'm not supposed to touch another angel's charge without permission. Actually, I broke it the moment I grabbed your arm on the way up. Oh, I don't mind. Naruto shrugged. I trust you more than I trust Jiraiya. In respects to handling Luffy. Naruto, I have a question for you regarding Luffy. Sasuke folded his headband and tucked it into his pocket. Shoot, can you have him lift up his shirt? Why? Just do it. Why? Oh, you think I wouldn't have noticed? Sasuke, it's been 17 years since his birth. Ya think I wouldn't notice if the Kyuubi was inside him? Yes, there are seals that can keep a demon from meeting an angel within the same person. The black-haired angel shoved his fists into his pockets. His eyes remained on the ground in front of him as he trudged in Zoro's direction. The Kyuubi? Luffy asked. He poked his stomach. He pulled up his shirt and said, I don't see a seal. Naruto charged his palm with chakra. He ran it across his charge's stomach. The seal appeared. Meep. Naruto whimpered. Chapter 5. Sasuke made short work of the bonds that held Zoro to the post. Luffy, come here. I'll check the seals. What do you mean? I'll fix that one so Naruto and his old pal, Sasuke snickered, can chat with you. Oh, the Mugiwara trudged over to him. Sasuke studied the seal for a moment. He frowned. A minute, or less. I see. Can you do it now? Naruto shifted from foot to foot. He'd put his wings away, but the Uchiha had not. In case you're wondering, Naruto looks like a Soul Reaper captain in red replacing black and orange replacing white. He has red swirls on his cloak. Sasuke's still in his 12-year-old form. Sasuke shrugged. He let his chakra out around his hand. It looked like a blue glove. His fingers were cold against Luffy's belly. He shivered under Sasuke's touch. Not a YOAI moment. YOAI fangirls off now. Done. Luffy nodded and collapsed. Luffy sat up in a dark place. Torches lit in sconces along the walls. Everything was glistening black stone. At the far end of the hull was a massive cage. Luffy took a step back, into Naruto. Keep walking. I am here to keep you safe. The angel said flatly. His expression was unreadable in the dim light. The black-haired boy took tentative steps forward. Something in the cage shifted. It was a massive fox. Its eyes glowed red. An aura of raw power and rage seeped off it in tides. Your monkey D. Luffy, my most recent prison. An honor to have an angel here. It sneered at Naruto. The fox transformed into a young man in a ragged red vest and torn black pants. His teeth were pointed and glistening in the flickering light. He had whiskers like Naruto. Come over here. See this piece of paper? It's a seal. It's keeping me here. Take the sheet of paper off and I'll give you unlimited power. No thanks. That's a good. Hey. I'm the Kyuubi, king of demons. You listen to me now. Thanks for the offer, mister, but I'm not interested. I don't want to have unlimited power. Hey. You will kid. Kyuubi, you leave him alone. Ya here. Don't play tricks on him. I'll see to it you're locked up good and proper in a nice cell in Tartarus if you keep it up. Come on, Naruto. I'm a good person. You know that. I won't hurt the kid. Not permanently anyway. Luffy, I need you to let me out. I'll die if I stay stuck here. He's lying. He's a fox. You can't trust him. I don't know. He seems pretty helpless. What kind of person would I be if I let him rot here? A dead person. He'd kill you and take over. Come on. I didn't kill you, did I? No, I think not. The room shifted. The cage vanished and instead it was Kyuubi kneeling on the floor, shackles hanging on his wrists. They were attached to the floor. On the cuffs was one of the seal papers each cuff. 2 pillars stood either side of Luffy. Please Luffy, have mercy on me. The seals hurt me. Okay, I'll take the seals off. Luffy made to walk forward, but he bumped into someone again. He bumped into Zoro's broad back. What's Zoro doing here? Ah, those eyes. Those eyes were lost 100 years ago. Who are you? Kyuubi looked genuinely scared. I am Uchiha Zoro. My eyes last belonged to my great-great-grandfather. Uchiha Itachi. Zoro stated flatly. Itachi. Kyuubi hissed. He jerked back and transformed into a massive fox again. Luffy fell back in shock. Zoro stood his ground. He didn't move at all. There was a collar around the fox's neck. The collar had the seal on it. Kyuubi, stand down. Zoro ordered coolly. Don't order me around. The demon brought its face down level with Zoro and snarled. His massive fangs snapped an inch from the swordsman's face. Don't order my captain around. Zoro reached for his white-handled katana. Wado Ikimonji. I despise the Uchiha. They have weapons that can destroy a demon. You will kill me. I will not. You will not order Luffy to let you take over again. I will silence you. Luffy snapped into alertness. Zoro, you stopped it. Yeah, least I could do. You got my katana back. Next to my life, they're my most treasured possessions. The green-haired man extended a hand to the black-haired teen. Luffy took the hand and Zoro pulled him up. Sasuke was sitting on the wall reading. Naruto was nowhere to be seen. Naruto, the rubber man asked out loud. In here, kid, with Fluffy. I was just testing his strength before. Just shut up, Kyuubi. One of these days, Naruto. And you'll what? Kill me. Already dead, remember. Grr. Hey, Sasuke-sama. Sasuke looked up from the book. What's Sharingan? It's an ocular jutsu. A form of jutsu used only in the eyes. It can be used to see chakra, copy attacks, or see ahead in your opponent's mind to find the attack they'll use next. Very useful and annoying. What do they have to do with Kyuubi? Luffy asked. Zoro hopped up onto the wall. Luffy followed. Ah, some of the Uchiha have Sharingan. Those that do are able to control demons. Kyuubi is a demon. I had the honor of meeting him once. Sasuke closed his book and tucked it into his pocket. Who's Uchiha Itachi? My brother. Sasuke's face went stony cold and his eyes hardened into black diamond. Why do you ask? Zoro shifted uneasily and hopped off the wall into the street on the other side. His angel glared at him. "Are you hiding something?" the dark-winged angel asked. Number. You just never asked." Zoro tied the katana to his sash. "Asked what?" Sasuke stood up on the wall and glared down at his charge. "What my bloodline entails. You thought I had Sharingan because of you. I had it because of my bloodline. Look at a list of my ancestors, starting on my mom's side. Go back 3 generations and who's that? Itachi. Damn it all, Zoro. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked." The swordsman undid his bandana and tied it on his arm. He looked down at his clothes. "I need new clothes. White is annoying." Zoro came out of the store dressed in dark colors. He was wearing a dark green t-shirt and had a black belt instead of the haramaki. He was still wearing the same pants and boots as before. "Wow, you look kinda like a ninja now," Luffy muttered. "Shut up," Zoro grumbled. He adjusted the bandana just as Shanks came running up to them, panting. There you are." He glared up at his friend and the new crewman. Shanks looked at Sasuke, then Luffy, then Zoro. "We gotta go. Morgan's pissed." Zoro tucked his hands in his pockets. Luffy fixed his hat. "Let's go talk at him then." Zoro made no expression at his captain's suggestion. Instead he simply agreed. It shouldn't take us 5 minutes. It took them 3. They had been at sea for 5 hours. The tiny port town was out of sight, and nothing surrounded them but waves. "Do you even know where we're going?" Zoro's stomach growled. Sasuke fidgeted. Jiraiya shook his head. "Nope." He leaned against the railing of the schooner. Zoro shrugged. Luffy groaned. "Miat." "Shut up, Luffy. We're all hungry." Shanks nudged the tiller gently. "And we need a navigator." "I'm okay, but if you want to get to the Grand Line, you need a better navigator. A better navigator. And a musician, and a cook, and a sharpshooter. And a guy who knows about ninja," Luffy exclaimed. "The only guys who know about ninja are our enemies," Sasuke stated flatly. "Or they're dead. Luffy stuck his tongue out at the angel. Faster than lightning it was stretched the length of the ship, with the dead Uchiha holding the end of it. "Never stick your tongue out at me. Only Naruto can do that," Sasuke growled. He let go of Luffy's tongue. It snapped back into the teen's mouth, creating a sound akin to a breaking rubber band. Zoro snickered. Shanks laughed. Jiraiya smirked and Naruto just glared at the sky. The blonde angel looked back at his old teacher. "Didn't Shukaku say he'd meet us soon?" Turn around. Sure enough, the one-tail, in human form, was standing right behind the blonde angel on the water. So, not much has changed. Except, more of the gods have awakened. Instead of just Ra-sama, Athena-sama, and Poseidon-sama. Hermes-sama has awakened, and who knows who's going to get up next. Actually, Hecate-sama showed signs of waking. That's pretty much it. I see. I hope Zeus-sama hasn't awakened. He dislikes Jinchuriki and devil fruit users. What's more, he hates pirates too, or so the legends say. Naruto shivered. Shukaku shrugged, then caught sight of Zoro and Sasuke. "What in the Tartarus are 2 Uchiha doing here?" "We're part of the crew," Zoro stated impassively. "Well, I am, and Sasuke's my great uncle and guardian angel." Shukaku's feet sank an inch beneath the water. "Huh. It's really kind of confusing," Jiraiya shrugged. Chapter 6. Buggy the Clown. Those 3 words spelled doom for her. Nami was running from the pirate. Her angel sprinted along the empty streets beside her. "In my day, a pirate wouldn't dare attack a ninja." The pink-haired angel shook her head. "Yeah, well, there aren't any living ninja left, Sakura-ne." "I know." There was suddenly an explosion overhead that caused the 2 females and their pursuers to stop. Something fell. It didn't fall from very high, it didn't cause that much damage. But it fell. Whatever it was stood up. It was a teenage boy, about 17 years in age, with a straw hat. "What?" Both the thief and her angel echoed each other. "Whoa, that was weird," the straw hat boy muttered. He waved at Nami and the pink-haired angel. "Hello Sakura-sama and friend." "Friend," Nami growled. Luffy winked and turned to the pirates in Buggy's crew. "Okay." He grinned. He held his hands aloft in a position Sakura had seen Naruto use so many times. A swirling ball of blue energy formed between his hands. He stretched his arms back 30 feet and yelled, "Gomu Gomu no Rasengan." Ka-boom. Asterisk. Damn, that's a pretty powerful move. Naruto couldn't possibly taught you how to do that. Luffy, don't do that again. Why? It takes too much chakra. You'll hurt yourself. What about Fluffy's chakra? Fluffy, I wouldn't use it much if I were you. It becomes kinda like a crutch, ya know. Ooh, good Kami-sama, Sakura blurted. She reached out at Luffy. Naruto. No, he's my angel. Who's your charge? Luffy circled Nami, studying her like she was a marble statue. She slapped him. Nami took a ribbon out of her pocket and tied her hair up as she spoke. My name's Nami. I'm a thief who steals from pirates and an awesome navigator. Sakura, you know. Yup, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, nice to meet you. I'm the dude who's gonna be the king of pirates. You're a pirate, not a real pirate. Not yet. My crew only includes one other guy and a friend. And the friend isn't staying for too long. And I don't steal, lie, cheat, kill, pillage, or attack for no reason. So, I guess that means I'm hardly a pirate. Yeah, tell her you have a demon inside of ya while you're at it. Kyuubi, just a suggestion. It was all part of the plan. Shukaku's plan. Foxes were always credited with being the slyest and sneakiest creatures, but the cunning of a raccoon is greater. Nami had dragged Luffy to Buggy's hideout and given up the map. Shukaku had promised he'd take care of Nami's needs for her. The map, the treasure. He'd get them. Sakura and Naruto remained within the minds of their charges the whole time. Luffy was currently in a cage. Being behind bars, don't it? Kyuubi, shut up. Ha, now you know how I feel. Oh well, Shukaku's the one planning this, so you should only be here another 15 minutes or so, 3 hours at the max. Depending on how long it takes Shanks and the Uchiha Gaki to get here. Don't bad talk Zoro, he's more talented than you, easily. Shit, I'm stuck in a pirate's head with a gay angel. My life can't get any worse. I'm not gay. Naruto, you were hot for Sasuke when you were alive, you're hot for his charge now. Wait, that's wrong. Not only am I stuck with a gay angel, he's the angel version of Orochimaru. Will you both shut the hell up? Naruto's not gay, and you're an ass. What now, Fluffy? I hate you. What the hell did I just say? Luffy didn't have to wait long before something happened. Buggy was about to fire a cannon at him, and he wanted Nami to do it. Shukaku twitched nervously, watching from his vantage point in raccoon form on the top of another building. He noted a smell coming in this direction. It was probably the best thing he'd smelled all day, because the owner of the scent would save Luffy's ass. It was Uchiha. Luffy sensed Shanks and Zoro's chakra getting closer. He grinned as Buggy approached. Nami was following the pirate captain closely, acting timid. Nami, to prove your loyalty to ME, you are going to blow your former boss to confetti. Buggy announced. Crap, how the hell is Shukaku getting us out of this one? Naruto did not completely trust the Aikibi. Don't worry about it, Pansy Angel. Grr, do I have to? I mean, it's so useless. He's a loser. Nami was beginning to worry if Aikibi had thought it through properly. She glanced at the raccoon, which dipped its muzzle, signaling her to continue. Do it, Nami. If you don't, you're not one of us. If you're not one of us, you're dead. Buggy growled. Go ahead, Nami. I'll be perfectly fine. And when I get out of here, I'm gonna clobber Buggy, Hokage style. Clobber me. Buggy laughed. He stopped only a second later. What's Hokage style? Hokage style is, the Hokage was the strongest of the 5 great cages, the Case Cage was the second strongest, they were the most powerful ninja ever. I'm gonna clobber you like a Hokage. Luffy grinned. You are you? Buggy began to laugh again. Luffy, stop taking like the thing. The what? Yeesh. No need to yell. Let me try that again. The what? The thing. Ya know, from the Marvel comic. Fantastic Four. No bell. Never mind. Yeah, of course I am. Luffy beamed. Okay, prepare the Buggy bomb. Buggy laughed. The cannon was loaded with one of the explosive cannon balls. Buggy took a box of matches and handed it to Nami. She looked at Luffy, who smiled. Don't worry, his plan S, so I'll think of something. Whose plan S? Buggy loomed over the cage. A friend's. He's said to be a demon. Luffy shrugged. You're not talking about. The clown pirate reeled back in shock. Roronoa Zoro. And if I am? Luffy grinned. I'll leave you alive. To lure him here so I can kill him. Buggy laughed. So you can kill who? Luffy turned his head to spot the familiar sounding speaker. Zoro. The Mugiwara beamed. Where's Jiraiya? Zoro sighed and glared at the straw hat. I close my eyes for 2 seconds, and you're off playing in some cage while she plays villain. He nodded at Nami. Honestly, Sakura, drop the act. And Ero Sanin's back on the boat. It took Nami a minute to realize she was pretending to be her own angel. Sorry, Zoro-kun. He glared at her, then shifted his eyes to Buggy. You wanted to fight me. Wait, you lied. The clown pointed at Nami. And, does it matter? No, I just felt the need for drama. This is why I never wanted to join a pirate crew. Zoro frowned. He fixed his bandana and fingered the hilt of Wado. So, fight. Of course. Buggy laughed. The pirate drew a knife and made as if to attack. Zoro beheaded him and lopped his arm off in one fluid stroke. That was disappointing and way too easy. The swordsman muttered. He glanced at the captain before turning to his. Zoro. Nami slammed herself into the swordsman, knocking him to the side. Buggy's fist, with the sword clenched inside it, grazed his arm. The arm turned around and hit him in the side before he could block. Goo-hoo-ha-hoo. I'm a chop-chop man. You can't kill me like that. Buggy laughed as he put himself back together. Hey, that's not nice. Stabbing someone in the back is just dirty pool. Luffy frowned from his place in the cage. Uh-oh, Shukaku whimpered. As you know, Luffy doesn't have whiskers like Naruto does. Not normally. As the rubber man got angrier and angrier, whiskers began to fade in on his face. They started off silvery, becoming darker and darker and darker, until they were black. Zoro, Luffy said. His voice was hard and serious. The swordsman understood exactly what his captain meant. So, Zoro, what'll it be? Are we going for shock, scared, terrified, or pissing themselves? Faye, we're just going with scared. K. The swordsman's eyes went from black to red. The Sharingan began spinning wildly. Look over here, he said softly. Stupidly, all the enemy pirates, including Buggy, looked. Here's what Buggy saw. He was standing in knee-deep water. He looked around and could see nothing in the total darkness. Suddenly he could see someone in front of him. It was him. The other Buggy lifted his hand to his face and pulled it right off. There was nothingness behind it. The clown pirate screamed in terror. As all the pirates collapsed, sobbing or screaming, Zoro turned to Luffy's cage. He lit up his hand with a Raikiri and was about to slice open a few of the bars. Uchiha-san, Buggy's getting up. Shukaku barked, transforming into a human. I guess I can stall, but get that cage out of here. Don't bother with cutting the bars. Shukaku-sama, that cage must weigh at least. Red, don't argue with a demon about what I can or cannot do. Zoro grunted as he lifted the cage up onto his shoulder. The whisker marks on Luffy's face still weren't gone. The end. Now we will see you in the next video.